Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to The Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Houston, looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Looking to Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Elite Dental Wellness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of InJustice. Thank you for watching us and tuning in at our new times, which will be Monday evenings. And today, my usual co-host is not with me, but I have two awesome attorneys here who are here to share their insight and their perspectives on the great topics that we're discussing tonight. So I'll go ahead and introduce them. We have Chris Demerson and Erica Hughes. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. But before we do, Chris and Erica, go ahead and introduce yourselves and let them know how they can find you and reach out to you on social media.
My name is Christopher Demerson. I am a criminal defense attorney, and I do a little bit of immigration. You can find me on Facebook just by searching my name, and my email is c.demerson09@gmail.com.
And Erica?
My name is Erica Hughes. I practice criminal defense as well, and I also do some civil practice. I am running for judge here in Harris County for Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 3. You can definitely find me on social media, Hughes for Judge. My email is ehughes4judge@yahoo.com.
That's awesome. And you gave them your website so they can go and find out how to donate or
Definitely
keep track of you?
Thank you, Kyra. It's www.hughesforjudge.nationbuilder.com.
Awesome. So much support to you. Hopefully those are listening. You guys can get more insight of who Erica is by, her views on the show tonight, and definitely go and support her. She's doing great things, and us at The Sphere, we're definitely rooting and cheering her on. So let's talk about it, guys. There's always craziness going on in the news. And one topic that has been going on for a very, very long time and has finally kind of hit ahead is the Bill Cosby situation. He has finally, so some people were not aware that he did have an initial hearing, and this was, he has to go before the court again. The lady, I don't know why I'm spacing, she wanted to retry him, and the court this time did find him guilty. So he is currently on house arrest. He is going to be sentenced this summer following his conviction on 3 counts of aggravated indecent sexual assault. The judge ordered him to get written permission for adult probation if he wants to leave his Philadelphia home to visit his doctors or to meet with his lawyers. But it's not looking very good for him. At this point, all he has to do is go through sentencing. The final judgment has how the evidence has kind of evolved. And then, too, that some women have dropped out or said that they, in fact, were lying or at least fabricated the story and made it more than what it really was. So, Erica, what are your thoughts on good old Mr. Cosby?
I think Mr. Cosby definitely will file an appeal. I think he has made it clear that he wants to, I guess, be out of this situation, and him choosing his counsel as a criminal defense attorney. Of course, the attorney he has a really big name, and has gotten him off before.
Yeah.
So I think that the appeal is gonna definitely come down the pipeline before he gets to the sentencing phase, and actually has to do time. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the actual trial notes to see if there were some errors done at the trial level, but I can imagine that they're going to definitely find some. And this won't be the last you hear from Bill Cosby.
Yeah, she's definitely saying that they believe that he's innocent of these charges and that the fight isn't over. So you're right on with that. Now, what are your thoughts with regards to kind of I don't know if you were keeping track of any of the evidence or any of the testimony from the other women who initially stated, yes, he did X, Y, and Z, but then later recanted their stories, or at least said that we fabricated some way. He did some of it, but not maybe as bad as we initially kind of put on that he did. Do you think that will kind of help him in the appeal, or is it really irrelevant at this point?
I think it will help if they come back and decide to be a witness on his behalf and switch sides.
Okay.
I definitely think it'll be a win for him if they do that.
I hadn't thought about that.
If I was his attorney, that's what I would be trying to do, is to call them as witnesses for us. Definitely is going to be some credibility issues there.
Right.
But it'll also help him with their side, because you've called these witnesses, but now they're testifying for me on my behalf. So that may be an approach that they take.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think about this whole fiasco?
I really did not follow the trial.
Okay.
Or the case at all, honestly.
Okay.
But I had questions. For instance, if I'm not mistaken, did Cosby take the stand in this case? Do you know?
I don't know if he took the stand. I know at one point he did admit to it, like to the sexual encounters, but he stated that it was consensual. Now, whether he took the stand or how he admitted to that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Because, like I said, I didn't follow it. I thought I heard somebody say he did not take the stand.
Okay. I didn't hear that he did, so I'm assuming that he must not have.
Through deposition.
Yeah, no.
That was through a deposition, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was years ago.
Right.
Okay.
And, I guess my approach may have been a little bit different, because I feel like in this kind of case, he has no choice. He has to take the stand.
Okay.
And he has to deny, because, in this kind of case when they're just pointing everything at him and, he doesn't have a chance to deny it, the jury only hears really one side of this story.
Right.
And it's human nature. Although, they can't hold it against him, it's
Right.
human nature to want to hear his
The other
side of the story.
Right.
And so, of course, I'm not his lawyer and I didn't follow, but I think that would have been something I would have done differently, is I would have put him up there and have him tell his side of the story and, combat some of the allegations against him.
Now, that's a good point, because the initial hearing was a hung jury, and they said that they took them 52 hours to come, that, hey, we're not going to get anywhere. So that probably, I don't know if that was in or out of his favor that he didn't take the stand. And so it may have been hung, like you say, because they don't know that other side. So it's like, well, we didn't hear his side of the story, so we're not really sure. Now, do you guys think there was any bias in him being out on bail, or out on bond, considering the situation? Do you think, no, he should have just... Do you see people go straight to sentencing in these type of situations, or is there that prolonged phase where...
I definitely think it's normal that once you get the ruling, that you have time before you get sentenced, the sentencing phase. I don't think it was because of his celebrity at all. I think it's definitely normal. Now, they did do something different here. He's on house arrest, right?
Right.
So that's definitely different than generally when you are out, as long as you are not going to flee. That they think even if you've done something egregious, they will still let you out before the sentencing
and no house
portion.
arrest, don't just as long as you're out on bond.
Right.
Then that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I don't think he was shown any favoritism with that. I think they treated him kind of normal in that respect.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Now, aside from the legal components of this, more, I guess, on a personal side, with regards to not just his brand, but the Cosby Show, and other things that were affiliated with him, even his wife and the things that she's done, and those contributions to society kind of being discounted or discredited now because she's his husband, which I don't agree with. I mean, he's her husband. I don't agree with that at all. Do you guys think that that's fair? That's kind of just the way society is? Because now everybody's like, oh, we shouldn't watch the Cosby Show anymore. And I'm like, I think the show itself was so much more than just him, that I don't think that that's fair to discredit those other actors, and the writers and the story that they put, forth for us. So I know that's aside from the lawyer talk, but just wondering just your thoughts and take on that effect of this crime.
I mean, he's been found guilty, so I guess we can go ahead and say, these acts are terrible, and he deserves to be punished. He should be, but I don't think that negates what he did in Hollywood. I don't think that negates what he did for, I guess, black culture at that time, and presenting a positive role model for the black community at that time. I don't think that should take away from any of that.
Right.
I think it should still stand. I think his show should still come on TV, and people should still be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's unfortunate, but you know how society.
Yeah, I mean, that's American society.
Yeah.
We're very fickle. We love you one moment, and the minute you make a mistake, or I don't know if I want to call this a mistake, but the minute you do something that society does not agree with,
right?
They hate you.
Right.
Kind of like Kanye right now. I mean,
right.
We love you 1 minute until we don't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think it will definitely tarnish his legacy, unfortunately. I don't think his wife should be brought into it because she's made her mark in education.
Right.
But I definitely realize that it has and it will. I don't agree with it. I think, like he said, he did great works, and he was also with some very great actresses and actors like Felicia Rashad, and so she always does great work. So I think that they shouldn't be tarnished because of him, but they will, just because of what Chris said.
Yeah. And people have kind of spoken against Felicia Rashad because she made the comment in saying that she doesn't think that he. Now I don't know when she made this comment, because you know how the news and media is. Someone could have said something a year ago, and now you want to say that it's current, a current statement. But at one point, she stated that she doesn't know him to have done those acts, and she feels like it's a public lynching for whatever to come against his legacy and this, that, and the third. But he in fact did state that he did have sexual encounters with these women. He says that it was consensual. Therein lies the issue. But now so there's kind of been a little target on her. But do you think that this will impact like the Harvey Weinstein case and other Hollywood actors or producers or whatnot who there have been claims against them, but there hasn't been any criminal charges or cases brought yet before the court? So just kind of saying that, oh, you only did it to Cosby, but you haven't done it to others. It's kind of a debate that I've seen on social media lately.
I think you will begin to see more attention brought to these matters, but I think it's, at the end of the day, race will come into play in these situations.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure that Harry Weinstein will even ever come up for trial, but maybe later other producers will. I definitely think it'll make a focus, or it has brought focus to Hollywood and to entertainment industry, but I don't think he will ever be on trial in this lifetime.
Really?
No.
I agree.
Chris, you're shaking your head no too. No.
I don't see it. I mean, think about it. For instance, Charlie Sheen, that incident, or it came to light that I can't remember exactly what the allegations against him were, but I think that was in 2014 or 2015 or something like that. And there's not even a breadth of bringing charges against him. I don't think so. I don't see it. Now, the difference could be his victims aren't parading around the media and all on television. They figured a way to keep him quiet.
Yeah.
That might be the difference.
Gotcha.
But I don't see a trial happening for them.
Well, that's unfortunate, and hopefully that changes in the near future, that race is not an issue, and that regardless of skin color, you're brought punishment for the crimes that you've done against women or men, in this, for that matter.
This is America.
It is, but let's talk about this portion of the show. Is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the United States don't pay their bills on time? 39% carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say that they do not have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email them at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask them how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. So, right before we went there, you were saying this is America. It is. But so tell me what you mean by that, by it being America with regards to men coming forward in sexual assault claims, or?
No.
Okay.
I was saying, you were saying that hopefully race doesn't play an issue.
Gotcha.
And I was saying, no, we've made, tremendous strides.
Completely
but
agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2018 and we're still
America.
talking about, yeah. Yes, unfortunately, I cannot argue with you there. So we talked enough about Bill Cosby. Let's bring it on down to Texas, but still staying in the arena of sex, because sex is just always a sticky area and people just often violate what should or should not happen. So the Texas Appeals Court rules that revenge porn violates First Amendment rights. A Texas court is said that just this Thursday that the Relationship Privacy Act, which prescribes criminal and civil penalties for defendants who disseminate pornographic visual material featuring former significant others without consent, is overly broad in that it violates First Amendment rights of the third-party individuals who are not original parties to the romantic relationship. The statute makes it unlawful to disseminate material depicting intimate parts of the victim, which they go on to list, which are, you already know what your intimate parts are, and that the visual material can be any form of film, photography, videotape, negative, slide, or otherwise. The law prescribes that either there will be a civil $1,000 fine or an injunction for the intentional exposure. So the issue here is saying that it's overly broad in reaching to the third party, who is a person who would receive the whatever type of visual display it is, and saying that they're just as culpable as the person who sent it. Kind of along the lines of child pornography, if you receive it, you are just as culpable as the person who sent it. But here, with it being adults, they're saying, well, you don't know the extent of that initial relationship, and that the original picture could have been taken with the intent of sharing it with others. So they're kind of saying that it's a violation, particularly for the third party receiving it, but not so much for the initial person who sent it. They're so culpable because they were parties to the original relationship, and they did know that the context of the pictures or whatever was taken with the intent of it being kept private. So I kind of agree with it. I get where they're going and saying that if you received it but you weren't aware, that you should not be held to this $1,000 fine or injunction. The injunction, though, I feel like you should still be on the hook for it, because then you shouldn't be able to send that picture out to anyone else. But being given a fine or criminally labeled, I think, would be a too overarching reach for that third party. So my criminal attorneys and my upcoming judge, you guys tell me, do you think that this is a fair kind of leveling and still protecting the person who was violated, but also not overreaching for that third person who received the picture?
I agree with it.
Okay.
And I didn't get a chance to read everything, but if I'm understanding correctly, it's making it where the third party that receives an image, a video, or any kind of visual material, they're no longer held liable.
Correct.
I agree with that because, I mean, prior to this, I didn't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get a picture that you're not expecting, or you know, your buddy sends you a picture like, "Hey, look at,"
Right.
and you open it and it's like, "Hey, you know,
Right.
I didn't want that,
Right.
and now I'm in trouble."
Mm-hmm.
I never agreed with that, so
Yeah.
I think I agree with that new statute,
That the third party it's not culpable at all.
or shouldn't be.
Yes. Judge Hughes.
I'll say I concur with both of you guys. Of course, with some exceptions. I guess you can look at the text thread and see the intent of the third party receiving it, their response, if they sent it out, if they posted it on their social media. But for the most part, I definitely agree. But I think we'll begin to see a lot of the law changing just as technology advances and text messages become very frequent. A lot of younger millennials, right, are doing text messaging now. So I think we'll see that type of law, adults too, evolve as it becomes more popular to text and to text things that probably we, in my day, we would never think about texting or to have a conversation about through the phone.
Right.
Yeah. And as Judge Hughes said, we're just going to go ahead and claim it.
Right,
Amen.
exactly.
Receive it.
You know, it depends on what the third party does with it. Now, if you just get it and it's like, hey, I didn't want that, you know, you delete it or you just ignore it, I don't think they should be held liable. But then if they send it to someone else or post it on social media or something like that, then they need to.
Yeah, I agree with that. They don't really speak to that. Or at least I did not see that in this initial article. But I definitely agree, because if they then send it to other people, or if they then post it on social media, which is now something that the law really needs to keep up or catch up to with Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and the likes. Just keeping them, because even though you may not have known the initial intent between those two parties, you know that you did not have an agreement with that person in that picture to then send that picture on, or whatever it is.
Right.
So I don't know how that would play out, but if that third party then sends it on, then they definitely need to be liable for disseminating a picture without the consent of that original person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll definitely evolve too, because I'm sure all of you guys are on group text, right?
Right.
So people see what happens then when it's on group text, and then you have some people that come in or make a meme with this, and you don't. So that'll be a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
The group text.
Yeah, we're all in those group media and all that kind of stuff, and somebody always posting something inappropriate, and it's like, hey, you know, we're all going to jail now. Come on.
Well, Facebook Live, thank you for joining us. We ask that you subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Review our show on iTunes with constructive feedback. Share this Facebook Live post and the entire show with your friends and family. Donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/donate. So, that's consent is becoming consent is becoming a gray area when it really shouldn't be. Even with the issues coming, we talked about in a previous episode about them having people creating apps now for sexual consent. And it's like, that's really what we have to come to, where you now have to have these, like, either you do a math equation to say, yes, I'm in my right mind to give consent, or, you know, to say that at this time this person consented. But then the issue is that consent always evolves and changes. I may consent to this, but in the act of it, I can say I don't want to do it altogether. I can say I don't want to do that. So that's becoming an issue. And just with truth to what happens, let's talk about Michael Cohen and how he says that he will now take the fifth in the Stormy Daniels suit. Before we get into it, just giving a little background, Miss Daniels is she was a porn star, and she had, or is said to have had a relationship with Mr. Trump, and they gave her, in exchange for a confidentiality agreement, $130,000 right before the presidential campaign. So Trump's longtime attorney, Michael Cohen, is now saying that he's going to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination in a civil lawsuit brought by the adult entertainer Stormy Daniels, a move that would prevent him from revealing anything that could be later used against him by federal prosecutors. Based on the advice of his counsel, he's saying that the proceedings in the case due to ongoing criminal investigations by the FBI and the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York that he does not want to potentially incriminate himself. He did, in fact, give her a loan that he paid out of an equity loan on his house. And the issue is now that she is trying to void that contract because she no longer wants to be held under the confidentiality agreement, and she wants to be able to divulge the details to whatever extent of her relationship with Trump. And now I'm like, were you also dealing with Cohen? I don't know. But the questions that were going to be asked of Cohen will likely overlap with the civil lawsuit and any criminal case that would in connection to the contract. So he's saying now, I don't want to say anything. Taking the advice of his attorney. Attorneys do have attorneys. We do not know it all, and sometimes we need somebody to give us advice on how to proceed in a situation. So it kind of makes him look more guilty, I think, that since he says he wants to plead the fifth and not say anything because he doesn't want to be incriminated, which means if I say something, then, hey, I'm going to get in trouble too. So I feel like this is just a whole fiasco with the president. Many of his team, from his attorney to many people in the White House have kind of just been falling from him left and right, or linked to all type of criminal and civil mishandlings and mishaps. So with this latest bit from Cohen, what do you guys think do you think it's a smart move? Do you think it kind of makes him look more guilty, or so they're going to probe even more? I don't know. It's just...
I think the media is going to probe anyway, if he wouldn't have lawyered up or not. I think he was smart to definitely get a lawyer. He needs some legal advice.
Yeah.
He's kind of out here as a renegade to me in the situation, even though he is a lawyer. Him pleading his Fifth Amendment right, I mean, he has that right.
Yeah.
And I guess in general, American society would say when you plead the Fifth, you're hiding something or you're leaving something out. But again, it is his right, and we don't know why he is pleading the Fifth, and it's there for you to utilize when you feel that it's best. And he's taken the advice of his attorney, and I mean, that's what any good client would do. But I think you will see the story unfold, even though there is a confidentiality agreement, even though he has pleaded the Fifth. I don't think we've heard the last from Stormy Daniels.
No, not at all. They're saying that this could potentially help her. And that either the judge or the jury can make what's called an adverse inference, and saying that, oh, well, since you don't want to answer these questions, we're going to assume the worst and assume that it would have been something that would have hurt you. So it's kind of the risk that you take in not, like you say with Cosby, saying your side of the story.
Yeah, well, as a criminal defense lawyer, I believe in the Constitution. So when I hear pleading the Fifth makes him look more guilty, I start squirming in my seat, and I start getting uneasy. Because it is his right. And, you know, we advise our clients to plead the Fifth for several reasons.
Right.
Well, and especially right now with, is it in court yet? Have they filed criminal charges?
No, so they're asking for the case to be put on hold for 90 days to give Cohen and his legal team the opportunity to see which direction the FBI is going in. So I think this is just like the initial FBI probing before the criminal and civil hearings or, lawsuits take place.
So right now, any statement that he makes really only serves social media and the media to get twisted, and I don't think it does him any good to make statements right now. Like, what for? These are not going to be his jurors. And so I think that's the best move to make right now, because any statement he makes, they're going to go digging and, trying to find any kind of dirt they can on him or anything to kind of twist up these statements that he's made. And I don't think it would be wise to be talking right now.
Yeah,
I think he should.
That's a good point.
Right now.
Because like you stated with the jury, it's not his set jury yet. So if he were to say something, I mean, we're human. So even though you go through a series of questions and we're dire when you select your jury, people are people. So we're going to have our preconceived notions coming to the door. So if he does make a statement and the media twists it or this, that, and the third, that's a very valid point. Whether he makes something that could be completely honest or, not incriminating in any way, they can make it incriminating against him. So,
but hold on, Chris. Earlier you said Bill Cosby should have testified, right?
I believe he should have.
So if Cohen goes to trial and the criminal allegations are brought, you would say he should testify.
I would think I wouldn't say, especially at this point, because I don't know any of the evidence. I don't know, what allegations are against him. But I do believe that, if it's getting bad, yeah, he needs to get up there and talk. But if his lawyers feel like, we are ahead right now, let him sit and, invoke his Fifth Amendment right to not take the stand. But if it's going bad, yeah, you need to get up there. You got to talk.
Okay.
They want to hear from you. So I don't know. I feel like, it just depends on how the trial is going. But right now, no.
It's too early to.
I mean, the Fifth Amendment is clear.
Yeah.
What you say will be used against you.
Right.
It does them no good right now.
That's true. But what does do you some good is that this portion of the show is sponsored by The Sphere. Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this last topic. I'm kind of didn't realize that all of our topics for tonight are around some component of sex. But like you said, it's America and it's the 21st century, and that's kind of a lot of, it's all around us. So we're going to hop on over to our neighbors in Louisiana, and the Senate there has approved a 15-week abortion ban. Louisiana senators voted 31-1 Tuesday to approve a bill that would ban abortions at 15 weeks. Mississippi approved a similar 15-week abortion bill in March, drawing an immediate legal challenge. An amendment to the Louisiana bill on the Senate floor means that the Louisiana bill will not go into law unless and until the Mississippi law is upheld by the courts. The Louisiana bill must face approval in the House. Currently, the Louisiana law prohibits abortions after 20 weeks. So this would shorten that window by 5 weeks. So abortion has been a hot topic on our show in the past, and kind of just talking about women's rights, women empowerment, and most times that the Senate or Congress who are making these decisions over women's reproductive bodies are predominantly men, and that their position is not from a legal component, but more so from a religious and personal beliefs, and what they deem should and should not occur. So this 15-week ban limits the women's window by 5 weeks, where it was originally 20 weeks. And seeing how Mississippi will uphold their bill, and if it's struck down, then it's likely that this Louisiana bill will not go forward either. This kind of makes me think about a similar situation here in Texas, where a Congress rep went before the House and she posed a bill, and it was really just to get her point across, and the bill would charge, I can't remember the name of it, but the bill would charge men a civil or criminal fine for masturbating. And they're like, what? So she did not do this to get passed by any means, but she did it to get the point across that men often have comments and wants to control women's reproductive, but you don't want to control men's. And it's the same idea. Well, you're killing potential eggs and you're killing potential babies. So it's the same kind of gamut as what she was kind of trying to get across. Of course, the Republicans thought that she was crazy, she was overreaching, but some of those Republicans who spoke very ill of her were the same Republican representatives who were saying that doctors who give abortions and women who get abortions should be charged with murder. So we kind of have this extreme in our House right now that is really kind of daunting for women who want to get abortions. I think Texas now, our availability in clinics has strikingly kind of lowered in the amount of places where people can go get these services because of the regulations and rules that have made it stricter for women to get abortions. So I've kind of ran my mouth on my opinions of it, but clearly you can tell that I do think that our legislature does overreach and from the wrong intent when it comes to women's rights with regards to abortions. So, Chris, Judge Hughes, what do you guys think? Just kind of on this bill, on this ban, on just other kind of legal things that are going on around women and abortions. It's always, an ongoing topic. So
I think it'll continue to be an ongoing topic, even though we've had the landmark case ruling on Roe versus Wade that makes it a violation to criminalize abortion or access to abortions. I think that the case talks about balancing an interest of the state. I think that states will try to promote their interests. Like you mentioned in Texas, we've limited abortion clinics or availability because they've cut funding. And so they will find a way around
making it criminal.
They won't make it criminal, but they will limit it or try to eliminate it. In Louisiana, what they've done is another way that the state has tried to promote their interests. And I think it's going to be an ongoing battle, something that's consistently going on, even though it's been deemed a constitutional right to be able to get an abortion from that case. So I think you won't ever get around it. It's just another battle or another way that you'll have to fight it. And so they've reduced it, I think you said, from 20 to 15 in Mississippi, too. So it'll just continue to come up, especially in a southern belt. It'll definitely continue to come up in those states more. But I think you just kind of have to fall back to the Supreme Court ruling. If we're going on 14th Amendment rights, constitutional rights, then you need to follow the Constitution and what the ruling is. Chris?
Get a man's opinion.
Smiling.
I agree with everything you guys said.
That's a smart man. That is a smart man.
I agree with everything you guys have said. I don't have anything else to add.
No, it's really just disheartening. And I would want to know what is the scientific or what's the science behind you shortening that window from 20 to 15? Was there any type of, if there's a science behind it, then I can kind of accept it more if you're saying that at this point the baby has, developed this or whatnot. But if it's strictly just because you want to pitch away at this time frame little by little, here's just 5 weeks. It's just a little bit, okay, the next time it's another 5 weeks. So then, by the time you're done with it, you've diminished it to you can only get abortion within 5 weeks. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Just saying, what is the support behind, what's your foundation in shortening it from 20 to now 15?
I think, Kyra, again, if it's a state interest, they're going to find a way. Kind of like when we go to trial. If I want an expert witness to support my side, I'm going to find an expert to do that. And if the opposing counsel wants an expert witness to support their side, they're going to find somebody to do that. I think the state will always find a medical doctor or diagnosis to try to support their interest or make it right of why they're saying this. To say it's a danger to the mother or to the child. But I think that there'll always be this argument because, again, you're going to find somebody that's an expert to support your side.
And even with the recent push in Texas, with these pamphlets that they're required to give women now, there was some of the statements that are in the pamphlet itself have been found to be scientifically false. So just like you said, it doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. If it's part of their agenda, they're going to end up pushing it anyway. And the thing that really trips me up is that there's a focus on abortion, but there's a high rate in Texas and across the U.S. on deaths that occur as a woman gives birth. So let's kind of focus our attention on figuring that out and why, as a developed country, we have so many women that die in childbirth instead of abortions just because we want to control something that we don't have any business controlling. But on that note, let's wrap it up with saying that this portion of the show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the oral overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through their commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmosphere, they strive to make their clients feel that they are a part of the family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Baptiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Asandra Baptiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680. Well, we definitely covered a lot on today's show. We definitely appreciate our sponsors and them and allowing us to be able to have this show on here. And thank you to our guests today. You guys did an awesome job. I definitely had a twist on something you were saying about Cosby should have, and I didn't think that he should have taken the stand. I didn't even think about that at all. And then Coach Hughes. Judge Hughes, you made some pretty profound statements that I hadn't really taken into consideration before. So you guys know you can always find me on Instagram at attorney_coffee, and go ahead and tell them one more time where they can find you guys.
Again, I'm on Facebook under my name. It's my personal page, so I don't just accept everybody, but and by email, c.demerson09@gmail.com.
And again, I am Erica Hughes. I'm running for Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 3. You can find me on social media, Hughes for Judge. My website for the campaign is www.hughesforjudge.nationbuilder.com. Thank you for having us, Kyra. I appreciate the opportunity and the time here on InJustice today.
Thank you. Guys, you can always follow us on one of our media outlets. And thank you for tuning in at our new time. We will no longer be on Thursdays. We will now be airing first on Monday evenings at 5:45. So until next week, ciao.